Oh, hello guys, hello, welcome to another DC Universe Online stream. If you've been sticking around for the past couple days, maybe about a week or so, we've been playing DC Universe Online for the daytime streams, guys. Uh, I told you guys when we finished our leveling up process that we would talk about endgame things, right? Things that you should worry about once you're done leveling up. And we're going to talk about kind of a rough one today, something that everybody has and everybody kind of needs, and you can end up spending quite a bit of actual money on if you decide to go that route. We're going to talk about artifacts. Before we actually do that, for those who don't know who I am, my name is Shadow. I stream every day, as often as possible. The main streams are the nighttime streams at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Daytime streams are at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to talk about artifacts, but first you have to know what artifacts are, right? And they are, let's see if I actually have one on me, because I probably put it in the vault. They are items that make a character stronger. They change the properties of certain moves. They give you certain passives and things like that. Um, they are what makes your characters build the build for the most part. If you plan on being a damage dealer, if you plan on being a controller, a healer, any kind of role, um, I hate to say it, but you will need artifacts and they will need to be leveled appropriately. And they would need to fit your playstyle and what you're going to do in the game. And you can get them by doing the artifact mission and then doing like certain quests to obtain artifacts. There's artifacts in certain DLC content. And generally, once you finish it, Constantine will be the artifact vendor, and you can get most of the artifacts from him. And it's kind of a rough subject because it does cost some of the higher end players a lot of money if they're willing to go that route. And once you start going that route, it's going to be pretty hard to not spend money to level up your artifact. And I don't want to turn you guys off from it, but it's part of the game, and we shouldn't shy away from it. Um, be careful when you're spending money in this game if you decide to spend money. Right, try to research the artifact that you might want to get. First of all, we have to actually get an artifact that is that I would say is considered suitable somewhat for us, right? And in order to get that kicked off, we do have to do the Constantine mission. And here it is right here. You get it early, guys, but don't bother doing it until you're like level 30, I say, because they're going to give you some stuff. And if you know what you're doing, you might just end up wasting materials and things like that and reagents. So you get this mission, it's called Artifacts. And basically they want you to talk to Constantine. I already made my way over here. And we're going to give him a little chat. And he wants us to go to Oblivion Bar. This part doesn't matter so much. You just have to do this mission to get some like starter stuff, right? And then he'll let you pick which one you want to use after that. So this part you don't gotta worry about too much, guys. You just come in here, you do the mission. It's gonna be a minute because he's gonna teleport us around a couple places. And this is the Oblivion Bar, guys. This is where heroes and villains could come and chill. Uh, in the lore, I'm surprised they didn't use something similar to this for when they're like trying to merge the heroes and villains, right? Instead of the House of Legends, it could have been like a big kind of like astral place like this. Bar setup is pretty nice. It's very sociable. They should have thought about it a little more. Right? They could have had some levels or something to it. I guess there's too much work. He wants to jump right in there, so we're just gonna do what he says. We're gonna go in here. You just this basically just beat people up, right? That's all you gotta do. Beat people up and then grab an item. And we can just get started with the combat for now. You see we're getting like nth metals, processed F metals, raw F metals. That's stuff that you need to level up your artifact. Uh, if you're new, try to hold on to them. I know inventory could be at a premium sometimes, but if you plan on playing for a while, and if you're at this point in the game, you probably do plan on playing for a while, you're gonna need all the nth metals you can get, guys. So try to keep on to them. Try to hang on to them. If you need to make an alt and throw some stuff in there, I suggest you probably should do that. Um, don't give them away or anything like that. You're gonna need them yourself. And we're just gonna clear out the this part of the dungeon, and then we're gonna make with all the other stuff that's in here. There you go. Give him a nice little serving. And then, you know, you just grab these gargoyles and you put them in place. There should be like 3 of them or so. I believe. Yeah, there's one missing here. And I think it's out here somewhere. Yep, here it is. You just continue on with this mission. There's really, you know, it's pretty straightforward. Take advantage of interrupts, all that kind of stuff. If he's blocking, block break him. If you guys need a tutorial on combat, I could give you like a light one and another stream. You just grab this one. And there's really not that much to say in these parts where we're just doing the artifact mission. It's supposed to get you acclimated to artifacts. I think they do kind of a poor job, personally. Well, it's introducing the idea of artifacts, right? I feel like they should kind of given you like some stuff to, not to keep, but like maybe say test, right? Maybe some sparring targets and dummies, things like that. Uh, but I guess that is for people who know what they're doing. Still, I think they could have done a little bit more with this artifact mission. Looks like they added more texture to him. I'm willing to bet they did. But since we're getting our power back, we're just going to spam this move, right? Not going to worry too much about it. And just accept all the rewards you get. You see the general gist of it is you're traveling to different places, collecting a few artifacts, right? And if you can't decide by now like what's going on, if you can't figure it out, towards the end you'll get to pick an artifact for yourself, right? So that'll be like your first artifact. We will talk about that once the mission is complete.
I will knock that smirk right off your face and into the source wall. You want to take me on? Fine.
And you should be at the point in the game, guys, where you kind of like know what moves you like using. Right, we won't worry about that too much until it's time to talk about like rotations and things like that, which I'm not sure if I'm the best person to talk to about that for this power in particular. But we'll see. I'll have to do a little bit of research myself and maybe shoot a few examples at you. Nobody saw that.
If you're ever looking for something powerful, no one person should ever have it. No further than the United States government. They've got all sorts of dangerous things that can blow off your damn hand. Let's go get some. What do you say?
Now here you just open stuff until you find what you're looking for. It'll tell you things that you think that they think are funny, right, or interesting. And we're just gonna open it all because why not? And we found what we were looking for. And thankfully Constantine's gonna help us out a little bit. If he's a plus-sized friend right there.
Well, mate, collected every last artifact on my list. Just take these and go. What? I'm a right bastard, everyone knows that. Fine. Since you did so well, pick one.
And here you have your chance to pick one. There is a timer on it, guys, right? So very briefly, if you look at them, The Tetra, right? We'll just call them by like the little first bits of their name. There's the Tetra, there's the Cog, and there's the Entwined Rings. The Tetra, if you look at the right hand side, it says damage superpowers. Basically, what that means is if you're casting powers, right? If you're the kind of person that likes to just cast powers from your tray, this will buff you, right? You see, it'll give you a might buff equal to a certain amount of your health. As you level up the artifact, it gets stronger, right? So, eventually you will want to get it to 200, things like that. Uh, the cog is for if you like using weapon mastery. I don't think we talked about weapon mastery too much, but if you like using your weapons and you have come across weapon mastery and you're a big fan of it, this will give you more precision, and the more precision you have, the harder your weapons will hit. So if you're using your weapons a lot, this will be the one to get. And you should be doing cross weapon combos, guys. So make sure you do like, for example, the brawling like hand clap into shuriken storm is a combo. The dual wield um, tap range into flurry into the bow's flurry, that's a combo. Things like that. If you like stuff like that, you would pick this. And the Atoid Wings, that's for a controller. If you use a power heal, it grants you health. So if you're a controller, you want to focus on being a controller, you would use this, right? So your power heal. If you're a controller, you do a move, it gives everybody back power. And for the sake of just being a damage dealer, I would pick the Tetra. So we're just gonna go Tetra, right, just for a basic example, because most people will be damage dealers, or you get to walk around trying to do as much damage as possible. And then they do teach you a little bit, right? You got artifact, blah blah blah. You equip your artifact, increases your stats, your bonuses, and then you can go to show me. And as you can see, just equipping it gives you some extra stats, right? If you look to the left hand side beneath the cost of the source marks, right? The cost for it. You can see there's some rank bonuses. So at 20, you'll get plus stats to might and to health. And the higher it goes, the more might and health you get. I don't know if these stack or not. Like if you keep stacking up like might artifacts, or if the strongest one overwrites it, you would have to look at a different video for that. Keep in mind, if someone else has this artifact, it negates yours, I believe. But if you're just starting out, and you get this artifact, this is what you got. So we have that, right? And then we're just gonna go back to the House of Legends. We're not gonna equip it or anything yet. If you're just starting out, I don't think you should equip this one right away and start leveling it up. That'd probably be a bad idea. You can come back to Constantine, and Constantine will be a vendor for you. And he sells a bunch of different artifacts. Now, here's the tricky part is I'm not sure if all of them will be available right off the bat, right? So that is up to you guys to see, like, because I'm not like a pure free to player, right? So I'm not sure what's going to be available here. But if you have these artifacts at your disposal and you're able to get them, there are some meta artifacts for damage dealing, right? There's the strategist card, the transformation card. There's the Eye of the Gemini, and we'll talk about like the two basic ones that everybody use. A lot of people use this transformation card. A lot of people, and basically what it does is it gives you bonuses to your crit chance and your crit magnitude, but it reduces your overall damage, right? So you want this just for increased crits overall. And it wouldn't matter in the long run if you're doing less damage as long as you keep critting a lot, right? Because that'll kind of like balance everything out. But you need to have this at a pretty high level to get like the max benefit from it. Most people stop at around 160 if they can afford it, and then like on special sales, or if you're a whale or whatever, they just get it to 200. No second thoughts needed about that. And then they pair it with the strategist card. And it's grayed out, so I'm just going to read it. So upon achieving a critical hit, there's a chance for you to get what's called a tactical advantage. And if you're doing damage ability, it gives you a damage over time. If you're healing, it gives you a heal over time. And power is a power over time. So, if you pair that with your damage, you're doing crits, and then you get a chance to do extra DOT. You're just doing overall more damage, just straight off, right? So that's most people will pair these two. I will leave the choices up to you, but the trans and the strat are unmeta. A lot of people use them, and they use them for a reason, right? So if you see a lot of people, if you inspect them or whatever, they might have these two cards on them. They might be real shiny. They might be real bright. So keep that in mind. And then there's like the Quizlet. The Quizlet is a real popular one. Basically, it's a pet out that there's damage the more powers you use, right? So, and then every so often when you use a supercharge, it'll like throw a beam at you. Now, here's the thing, guys, and this is where like I'm not gonna like steer you towards any artifact or anything like that. I was just suggesting a couple or telling you what a lot of people have are like strategist, transformation card, the Quizlet. There's something called the Grimorum. If you're just being a pure damage dealer, that's what a lot of people run. They run the Solar Amplifier. We might do like a more in-depth artifact discussion, but so say you were to equip this, right? This Tetra. I would like to put it on without like having to spend any of my artifact stuff on it because we might just turn him into a controller and call it a day. So I don't want to necessarily use the stuff I have on him. Let's check our bank. Let's see what we got in there. Oh, we don't have anything really. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Let me think about this for a minute, guys. Let's think about an artifact that we really want to use so we can use an example. Use it as an example. And as you can see, guys, I'm sorry, like I'm being quiet. I'm just kind of like looking at them. There's artifacts for roles, right? If you're running a pure damage dealer, you'll need at least 3 of them. If you want to swap artifacts, you'll need maybe 4 of them. If you plan on being a damage dealer and you plan on being, like, say, a tank, you'll need tank-specific artifacts, so you need like up to 6 artifacts. The cost could get pretty high if you're just trying to do it with like pure money. And when I mean pure money, I mean real life money, by the way, guys. So keep that in mind, guys. Really take a moment and look at these kind of artifacts and see if there anything that you really want to use or might be beneficial to your power. If all else fails, I would look up a YouTube video. And that's like probably the best way I can direct you to any of these powers. So just be wary about that, guys. I'm trying to think of something really, really good. That way I don't like waste materials on them, right? I was thinking being like a buff troll or like some kind of debuff troll, something along those lines. And I don't think we have all the artifacts available to us here. There's just like a nice little selection. Uh, some artifacts are in certain DLCs, right? You have to go here and there to find them. And I really suggest that when you're trying to pick artifact, really take a moment and take a look at what's available to you. Because you don't want to end up getting an artifact, leveling it up, and it's useless to you. If you used real money, you would have wasted your money effectively. Unless you change your power or something to something that fits the playstyle, which is even more money, right? So just be careful about that. Be very wary about that, guys. Honestly, it's weird. This is not a joke. This is, if you plan on spending money, this can be a lot of money. So be aware of that. Oh man, I'm having such a hard time picking something to use it as an example here. You know, and it depends on what kind of role you want to use, right? You know, what kind of style of the role as well, because you could do battle healing, battle trolling. I would advise being like something more pure, right? Like if you're gonna be a healer, be a pure healer. Like start out pure healer, learn the game, and then if you feel like you could lean into like the battle aspect, or you got it where you can ease up and do a little bit more combat, do that down the line. As long as you're doing your job, nobody's gonna complain. But if you guys start wiping a lot, there's a lot of room for people to start uh, finger pointing, right? We'll call it finger pointing. I feel like we could use the Quizlet, but Grimoire might be safer mostly because, well, let's see what kind of graviton charge, right? We need them to be mostly destabilized, I would say. I figure to use moves like this. Okay, let's pick something simple, right? We'll just go with the Quizlet. Or should we go with the trans? Let's just do trans, right? We'll use that as an example. I'm sorry, guys. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and skip forward a little bit, right? I'm trying. Uh, we're just trying to give you guys a good example of what to expect. So, uh, let's say you took the time and you looked at the artifacts you wanted. You didn't like spend all your artifact stuff already on the first thing you got. As you can see, it says to go to your inventory, equip your artifact, and then you have to fortify your artifact, right? So we have the transformation card. Could equip it. Now it doesn't tell you anything in this tab, right? You can see in my inventory there's like a bunch of tabs. You just got to scroll over with your shoulder buttons or your respective buttons that you have to push for whatever you're on, and then you're in a list of stuff that you can fortify. The artifacts are at the top usually. We're working on the transformation card. You can see it's currently equipped. Now they want you to put some F metals in here, right? They want you to level it up. The first breakthrough is free, of course, and then you know, then they get you hooked, right? And you want it to at least get to, if you're like being a serious player, about 120 or 160. You ideally want it at 160 to 200, guys. So you know, they'll give you your first little boost. Let's just back out of that and see what we got. Okay. I think we're safe. This is one of the safer artifacts, like one of the more sure ones. So uh, we'll put this in and we'll put this in. That should be about 20 right there. And also something important on the left hand side, guys, like don't just, if you have a bunch of like nth metals, right? There are different levels. If you just hit the button, you're gonna load them all in there, right? Um, if you see to the left hand side where the transformation card sits, right, that big menu, there's a load count. If you tap the load count button, you could put, you know, you can put the counter for how many F metals you want. So be careful of that. If you have a bunch of like high XP F metals, you want to waste them all needlessly. But for now, I believe this will get us to 20, right? You put them all in, then you hit the fortify button. Now, just because you did that doesn't mean your artifact is at 20. You see, now it has a chance to go to 20. But I need a catalyst for a breakthrough. So the next step is to find Constantine and talk to him again. And he sells catalysts and all kinds of stuff, right, for your artifact. He should give you some for free. And we'll use the free catalyst. Right. The first time you do it, like this first milestone 20, the success rate, as you can see, like right above where this thing is highlighted, the Dionysium, that is 100% success rate because it's gonna give you a free breakthrough. So no matter what, it's gonna breakthrough is always gonna be 100%. And then the stronger it gets, like the higher level, you'll need different catalysts. Now they call source marks. He gave me some extra free ones, so we'll just take those, right? We'll just take those. But we'll take a look at it again. So you see we need some extra Dionysium, we're gonna need some quantum field energy. The higher level this gets, the more catalysts you'll need for a breakthrough. And the lower chance of success you'll have for a breakthrough. So we're gonna need some Dionysium, guys. He gave us some source marks so that we can use it. We need 2 Dionysiums. So you can use source marks, guys. Pretty simple. You just need to get it. Now you need to, for your next breakthrough, you can see the rank bonuses. That's when a breakthrough occurs. So like 40, 60, 80, 100. You wanted to get to 80 first because you want Dark Bargain, right? Dark Bargain is like, that's when it gives you the stuff that it says that's all grayed out, like gain 20% critical chance and magnitude on your attacks and your heals. You want it for the damage aspect, right? If you're a healer, you want it for the healing aspect, but right now we want it for damage. So he gave us some flawless Nth metals. We do have a bunch of these processed ones, right? I don't know if we want to use them all. So we'll just do them by increments of 10. In case we keep using this character, right, I would like for him to have a couple artifacts. So you don't have to do all this math. I'm kind of doing a bunch of math here. Okay, so this is important, guys. As you can see, we're at our next breakthrough. We have the catalysts, but the chance for it to break through is at 95%. I have seen it fail. I've had it fail multiple times at 95%. If you're nervous and what happens is if you fail the breakthrough, you lose these catalysts, and then you have to get them all over again. Right, so you need to get some source marks, or you need to do like instances, and hopefully they drop for you. Or you need to farm source marks, and that is a pain because you'll have to keep running dungeons and stuff like that. And say you don't have time for that. Say you got to go to work or school, or you got to do some homework, right? You just want to kind of get on, do your dailies, get it done. You know, some people got OCD, so this might drive them crazy all day. They give you seals of preservation. And as you can see on the right hand side, basically if you fail this breakthrough, you still get to keep your materials. And that's pretty important. We're going to go ahead and throw it on. Right. I should take it off. We're going to take it off and we're going to see if we fail, because there is a high chance we can still fail. Luckily we made a breakthrough and we kept the seal of preservation. Pretty good. Pretty good. And just because it's at level 40 doesn't mean like that we're done, right? You want to get it to at least 120. Well, at least 80 for starters, right, for you new people. Hopefully you've kept all these Nth metals. And this one is safe to use, so we're just going to go ahead and use all our stuff right now. As you can see, for this next breakthrough, we need now paradox energy, we need quantum field energy, we need Dionysium. And the higher level they are, the more they cost, as you can see. Right, and I don't have that kind of scratch on me, right? I mean, we're getting low on our items here. We're getting 1, 2, and 3. 1. And you can see we barely made it. We barely made it, guys. Now, as you can see, the success chance is 90. Keep that in mind, because this is kind of like a mental thing they're doing, right? What if I fail, right? What if I lose my catalysts? That's time wasted for you, right? So you're gonna want to use a seal sometimes. You can see now they start showing you what perfected Nth metals, right? Perfected Nth metals you get from the marketplace, which is their cash shop, and perfected Nth metals cost cash money, guys, right? So you can boost this artifact with real money if you want. You can see it's sitting at a 68. You kind of want it at 80. We are out of we're out of nth metals, we're out of things to level that up, right? So now what do? We have to run missions, we have to kill enemies, we have to get nth metals to put into here to raise it up, and then you're gonna need on top of that these catalysts. Right now, if you're free to play player, I guess you'll just have this on and you'll just go about your business like leveling up and doing DLCs. Hopefully you'll get some nth metals and things like that, right? Hopefully you'll get some more catalysts and you can afford it. Now let's say this is like the bad aspect, right? So let's say you just want to level it up. Like I don't care. I worked 8 hours a week. I got my paycheck. I mean 8 hours a week. I work 8 hours a day, right? I do my 9 to 5. I worked 4 or 5 days a week, 6 days a week. Some of you work like seven days a week, damn near, right? Work a lot. I spend my money how I want to, right? You go to what's called the marketplace. Marketplace is where you spend your real money. And then you will go to the artifacts tab. And wow, look at all this stuff. You get artifact XP packs. They're golden. They're shiny. Right? You want the perfected ones because they said they give you the most experience. That's a 900 marketplace cash a pop, sir. Uh, and that's because I'm subscribed at the moment. If I was unsubscribed, this would be about $10, right? $10 for one perfected artifact. And they say pack, but there's one uh, perfected nth metal in there. So you get one nth metal. It gives you about 75,000 XP. That's enough for a couple levels just to start out with. But the higher it gets, the more XP you're gonna need. So you're gonna need more of these XP packs. And then then you run into the problem of hey, I need some catalysts. Oh, catalysts are pretty cheap, right? But you don't need just one sometimes, right? If you're leveling it up a lot, you're gonna need these packs, right? These packs come with six in there. They come with 6. Uh, Look, they cost 270 marketplace cash. Right, they're at really odd numbers because they want you to spend more money. Right, because if you want to just get marketplace cash, right? See this? Right, so what can you get for 500 marketplace cash if you're trying to level up your artifact? You could get some reinforced ones, right? You can't even get a perfected one. So you're gonna have to spend $10 just to get a perfected artifact pack, which is one nth metal, guys, right? And then on top of that, you're gonna need some reagents, right? You're gonna need some catalysts, and this will cost you if you're buying a few packs of these, another like $5, $6, right? If you're leveling up past just one level, you're gonna need maybe a handful of them, so maybe another $10, right? And then once you get really high up there, the success rate is going to be so low that you're just going to want this, right? This is a seal of completion. Basically, what that means is once you put it in there, your breakthrough is going to be guaranteed, right? If you're not subscribed, I believe this is a solid either $5 or $6, right? So you're going to need at least maybe 4 or 5 of them just in case you get really paranoid and you want to waste anything. So that's leveling up one artifact from scratch using just marketplace stuff is about I want to say $200 to $400 real life money. And there's other people that have done the math on this, right? It could cost slightly more or less, depending on if you're like just trying stuff out and then you fail a couple of times, or it could cost a few hundred more, maybe 50 more, 20 more. Let's say you got the wrong artifact. Now you're gonna have to spend money getting more reagents. It's a very costly endeavor, folks. And here's the thing about these artifacts. If you don't have good artifacts, you're not doing good damage. And if you're not doing good damage, people are not going to want you in the group, and they're going to get tired of you. And they're gonna either kick you out or they're gonna leave the instance that you're in. And for clarity, for perfect clarity, if you're at endgame and you're not using artifacts, you're not doing enough damage. Period. You're not. No matter what anybody says, you're gonna see people maybe in the comments if like this video gets any traction. They're gonna claim that they do a bunch of damage and they don't use any artifacts. They're lying. I don't know how else to put it. They're lying. There's no way you can keep up with someone that has really high leveled artifacts and doing just basically a shit ton of damage, if we're gonna be frank, guys. And they have like, you know, think about it like this. This is just one artifact, right? You can combine this with like two other ones and have like really, really powerful moves in your loadout. And there's no way you're gonna keep up with someone that has good artifacts with them. So if you're free to play, just keep leveling up the artifacts you have, right? Make sure they're right for the build you're using, right? If you're doing damage with superpowers, grab something that's more related to superpowers and makes you hit harder. And if you're dead set on not using money, just try to take it slow. Just be aware that when you're in endgame content, you're going to see people doing a lot of damage. It's going to look like you're not doing that much. It's most likely the artifacts in their gear. Artifacts help almost 100% of the time. They make you do so much damage, guys. And this is like one of the shitty parts of the game is because instead of fixing a lot of problems they had with the powers themselves, what they did was they added these artifacts into the game, and it's almost at the point now where you don't it the power you have almost doesn't matter, right? As long as your artifacts are really strong and really high leveled, you'll be doing pretty decent damage most of the time. And that's a blessing and a curse, right? Because now you can pick any power you want, but if you want to do good damage, you get to need these artifacts. And it doesn't matter what anybody says. This is the truth here, guys. Right? We're not going to sugarcoat it. You're going to need these artifacts. Now, if you are okay with that, you're okay with like just leveling up in the end game, you can still be a free-to-play player and level up your artifacts slowly. Try to get them to like 80, right? Try to get a couple and try to get them to 80 because that's like when they start kicking in for real. And that would be like the best advice I could give you would be like get a couple of them to 80 and then slowly work your way towards getting one to 120 and then getting the other one to 120. And then if you want to spend money, you already seen what you can do. I would say wait for some damn sales and get it that way, guys. And this is more of a warning and just cautionary for you guys, because if you want to play the game, that's what you're gonna do. If you don't want to play it, but you will need these things unless you want to be like the event version of things where this doesn't matter. But eventually, you're gonna want to do some regular stuff, guys, and you're gonna need these things. You will, trust me, you will. So take that into account, guys. If I'm suggesting things to you, right, and you're like a new player, just for you to be safe, there's some good artifacts out there. Uh, you'll see, like, if you inspect players, right, like, just for the sake of it, let's inspect someone that looks like they have good artifacts. Let's look at Ghost Rider over here. He looks like he's cool. He's running tank stuff. We're gonna try to find someone that has DPS. Knight of Steel. Well, this is really failing me right now. We'll look at Tracker. Boom, there you go, guys. So he looks like an endgame player, right? He has a bunch of renown gear. Now, if you look at his artifacts, what does he have? Transformation card, strategist card, the Tetra, right? These are things I was suggesting to you. If you're using Might, you can't go wrong with a transformation card. That just makes you uh, have a chance to hit harder overall, do a bunch of crits. These two go in hand in hand. They have good synergy, right? If you're doing crits, this has a chance to proc, right? So if you're critting, then this is procking, right? And then this is just procking by itself. And then the Tetra is just a flat might buff to everybody, including yourself. So I would suggest the transformation card, the strategist card, the Tetra. If you're a big fan of Superman and you want to use like his heat vision, there's the solar amplifier. Um, those would be like the starting ones I would suggest out. The one I would suggest the most would probably be the transformation card, just so you get a bunch of criticals out. If you have any questions, guys, about this, and you're watching on YouTube, feel free to let me know. If you think I'm wrong, feel free to let me know, even though I'm right, guys. Uh, that's just how it is, guys. We can talk about other roles and other videos and other streams if you want. Uh, they require their own set of artifacts. So if you're a tank, you want to be using like oh, I forgot I don't even have any artifacts, but you wouldn't be using one that's like designed for healing. They usually will let you know what they might be intended for. Uh, this one looks like it doesn't for some reason. But maybe this one, since we haven't used it yet. Right there you go at the top. So it'll tell you what it's recommended for before you consume it, right? Recommended for damage superpowers. Uh, when you're like shopping for artifacts, I would suggest looking at maybe some YouTube videos. You know, just make sure the artifact you're getting, if you plan on spending physical money, is worth the money you're going to spend on it, right? Because in the end of the day, like most of us that are watching this or watching me are adults, and uh, we're free to spend the money how we want, right? We worked hard for our money, so if you guys want to spend money, I'm not saying not to. Just be wary of how much you spend, guys. Right? It's easy to spend a lot of money sometimes on little games and stuff. And just be aware on what you're spending your money on and make sure it's worth it for your character. And I think that's all I have to say about artifacts, guys. If you gave me the chance, I would start ranting about them failing the power sets with these artifacts, right? Uh, and with that said, I have my gripes, but as you can see, I'm still playing the game, right? So there must be something right. I like the combat. It feels satisfying. I have bought artifacts before, which is why I'm highly like advising you guys to do some research beforehand, right? I've bought the wrong artifact. I've bought the right artifact. I've bought nth metals and things like that. I've been a whale in certain games, and I would just say be cautious, guys. Just be careful. And with this said, guys, thank you so much for watching me. I think I'm just gonna do a little bit of off game grinding. Um, we'll talk about uh, we'll try to take a positive route next stream, and we'll talk about like regular endgame content, like getting into alerts and raids and things like that. What you should be looking for, gear wise, what you should be trying to get into, and we'll take it from there, guys. Thank you for listening to my rant. Thank you for listening to my rant, guys. Believe what I say, by the way. Right? Try. You can look up other guides and things like that. Everything when they talk about damage, right? Like say you want to be a damage dealer, there will be a big section about what artifacts you should pick. So this plays a lot into the game. Trust me, guys. Uh, guys, thank you so much for watching me. I will be back in roughly 30 minutes to have the nighttime stream. If you guys are watching me live right now. If you're on YouTube, thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys next time. My name is Shadow. I stream every day, guys. I'll see you later. Wait, why am I quitting like this? I'm just going to quit out. Thank you, guys.